Hello, and welcome to the 10 Songs in 10 Weeks Ride Along Journey. I'm so excited to kick off with you today with song number 1. If you're new to this channel, take a look at the introduction video I posted last week to be all set for this video series. If you've already seen it, get ready to follow along. We are going to kick off with a lyric-focused exercise, and I have a song template for you in the description box below if you want to use that. Feel free to use it. It's a Google Doc, so just be sure to copy it to your own Google account and don't write directly into that one. Here's just a quick overview of the document so you know what it does. At the top, you have a section where you can free write for 10 minutes or so if you want to do that first to gather ideas for your song. Then you can read through what you wrote and pull out words and phrases you like. This can be really helpful if you have trouble deciding on your theme, which we're going to pick in our exercise today. And then the next part we'll be using for the actual exercise, and the part at the very bottom where it says 5% is where you would gather your notes once you've written your demo and you want to finish it for release. You can go ahead and copy that now, or just use an empty document of your own if you prefer that, or pen and paper, whatever works for you. Without further ado, let's get to it. All right, let's get into the exercise. This one is called Write from Theme, and it's generally super helpful if you tend to get writer's block or if you get stuck on verse 2. This exercise kind of makes you create a template for yourself for your song lyrics, and it helps you map out the emotional journey that the listener is then gonna live through the song and like the song is gonna take. So the first thing we're gonna do here is just pick a global theme, and this is basically what your song's about in one sentence. You can pick anything really. My cat is just, I don't know if you can see him. He's just sitting under me. I don't know if I can move the camera. I think I'm gonna write a song about a little thing that happened with my cat a couple of weeks ago where I had to take him to the vet in the middle of the night because he ate chocolate while I was upstairs and he was downstairs, and I was a bad cat mom. I left the chocolate out. So I think I'm gonna write about that. My cat ate chocolate while I wasn't looking, and now I have to take him to the vet in the middle of the night to save his life. Okay, that's my theme. Pause the video and pick your own theme. Okay, moving on. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna expand this theme into the different sections of the song. Verse, pre-chorus, verse 2, bridge. Doesn't mean that you have to stick to these sections, but it's a start. So we're gonna do this in different parts. In the first part, we're just gonna tell it as it is, without overthinking, without being fancy or poetic. We're just gonna take the global theme and kind of write it out from different angles, map it out throughout the song without being fancy. So I'm gonna do that now. I wasn't looking and my cat got into the chocolate box. Shit, now I have to take him to the vet in the middle of the night. I hope he doesn't die. Verse 2. The little guy is brave. The little guy's brave, but this is scary. Bridge. I guess I have to learn to be a better cat mom. So that's kind of how you go through it, right? The chorus would repeat several times And I didn't think at all. I kind of just like wrote down the story in like short words. All right, pause the video and do that for yourself. Okay, now we get fancy. So in the next part, we're gonna take what we wrote in each section, and then instead of telling, we're gonna use sensory imagery to show it. So I'm gonna figure out fancy ways to say, my cat got into the chocolate box. My fluffy friend fell for a sweet temptation. And I go through all of them just like that. And what's really helpful here is, this is how I usually do it, is I just kind of picture the situation and then use the images, and maybe you associate the image with a smell or with a certain movement or a certain emotion, and that's what you use to show what it is, to show what it is. Feel free to pause the video while I'm doing this for myself, and we'll come back and be ready for the next step. I hope you found something for everything. I usually, I completely turn off my brain, so it may well be that what I write here isn't super cohesive, or, you know, this doesn't need to be perfect at all. It's kind of just getting my creative juices going. Because the next thing that we're gonna do is write the actual lyrics. So feel free to pause the video and use a combination of your show and tell, you know, of the words you have here and there to figure out your lyrics. If you use too much imagery, the lyrics might not connect as well, or the story might not be clear. Whereas if you don't use the sensory images, then it'll be a dry lyric. But you know, you're the artist, so go crazy and get your lyrics down. Okay, so I have a lyric written out for each of these sections. I'm now just gonna copy paste them down, because as you can see, I only have like a sentence. You could go full out and like write the lyric for this section and then the next section and the next. But I like to keep moving. So as soon as I feel like I start to think, I like to switch to the next thing, because that will keep me in the flow. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually just gonna start the song, because the amount of lyrics I have now, I kind of have a nice outline. I have a bunch of words, I have a story that already allows me to come up with the music and then fit it together. But if you want to work out your lyrics, I would just copy what you have in the sections here and put them down, like just make a lyric section for yourself and write out your lyrics here. And once you have those, just put them to music. So that's the other way you can do this. I'm an ADHD girl, and I just like to, as soon as I have some lines, I have kind of an idea. For me, it's more about like the creative spark with just getting that inspiration ignited, and I can feel like writing out these lines, I can already hear like music coming. So I'm gonna jump into the music, I have my lines here, and I'm gonna flesh out the lyrics with that process. All right, this is the exercise. So go ahead, make your lyrics, put them to music. Whether you do that separately or if it goes hand in hand the way it's with me, that's up to you. And just for the sake of showing how this can go, I'm gonna go make my song now, and then I'm gonna show you what I made, and then hopefully I will hear what you made next week. All right, a couple of hours later, we have a song. So this was a lyrics exercise, and this is what my brain does. As soon as I'm supposed to do something, it kind of wants to do another thing. And the lyrics of the song ended up being really, really simple. But I don't know, I feel like the song still has kind of, it's like short and impactful, like the message is clear. It's called Hanging by a Thread, and you'll hear it in a second. I'm gonna show you the song first, and then I'll show you how I got to it within the DAW. So how I built it in the DAW. Okay, keep in mind, this is a demo. This is what I made in a couple of hours. It needs mixing, it needs a lot of things, but here we go. I looked away for a second, and you buried your face in a sweet temptation. My stomach knows this could turn you cold. Hang by a thread as I pull out the car to turn this corner. Your stomach knows we don't have much time we can afford. Streets shining bright as I read through the night, my little darling. Just hold on tight, just hold on tight, 1 minute more. Hanging by a thread, 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 break the sun, hanging by a thread, hanging by a thread, hanging by a thread, just hold on a minute more, hanging by a thread, hanging by a thread, hanging by a thread, hanging by a thread, hanging by a thread. I looked away for a second, and you buried your face. I turned it into a sad story. I have written out all the lyrics, including verse 2 and a bridge. And I just didn't feel it. And I felt like the song was calling for more of just like a slow build with a big part at the end. So that's what I did. And I kind of just kept it to this drama of my cat hanging by a thread. And I also didn't want it to be obvious that it's about my cat. But you kind of can, like, you know, I thought it was a vibe. I hope it was a vibe. Okay, so here's how I made it. It started out, after I wrote those couple of lines, with this Celeste. This is from a free VST by Spitfire Audio. I mean, it's actually BBC Orchestra, but I got it through Spitfire Audio, and it's just basically the free library of BBC Symphony Orchestra instruments. So this is a Celeste. So this is the instrument, and I came up with this. I looked away for a... I just came up with these arpeggi, and I added this vinyl plugin that adds a really nice like vibe to it, 1930s style, which means there's not the whole frequency range comes through, but just like the mid range, and there's a warpiness, and you can adjust all those things. I love this vinyl thing. But you can hear it crackle even when nothing's playing. So I did that, and then I just sang the lyrics on top. These are the lyrics how I wrote them originally. So I kind of just came up with the melody and then to these words, and then I modified the rest of the lyrics to work with that melody. And so I made this first part first up until where the drums come in. Streets shining bright as I read through the night. And there I made the instrumental first. So it's just a Celeste. I added 2 synths, a deep one and a cassette synth. I'm just going to turn off the crackly sounds. Okay. And I added a bass. Very low bass. And I programmed these MIDI drums because I wanted it to feel like it's kind of a marchy, dangerous situation kind of feeling. And that's it for this section. And then I basically had this instrumental here. Whoops, zoop. And I wasn't sure what to do then, and I was kind of not happy with the verse to bridge situation structure. And I just created this instrumental part where I'll just show you what I added. So I had the bass and the drums. I did a different chord progression, and I added more drums that I also programmed, and some percussion where I just used a loop. And then I added strings, and wait, one by one. And I added just a sparky beep, beep. With some delay on the ding, just like it's basically just a delay that makes a sound ping pong. And this is a preset I have in Studio One. I'm sure if you're using any other DAW, you have presets like that. I usually just click through and then adjust the knobs while listening. That's the way to go. And then I had this whole instrumental. And then my brain went, hanging by a thread, hanging by a thread. And so I recorded that. Okay, so once I had that instrumental part, my brain was like, let's do hanging by a thread. And that's what I did over here. I basically just sang it the same thing the whole way through. an octave up, an octave down, and then I copied those tracks once I had sung them, one left and one right. Like I sang them and then I panned them one left and one right, and then I copied them one more octave up, one more octave down. So you get like this choir feeling. And I added the delay, a crazy delay. So I'm sending them all to a backing vocal bus where I have compressor EQ, and then I have this scratched record delay that sounds cool, I thought. Hanging by a thread, hanging by a thread, hanging by a thread. Because it also kind of gives it that warp, and it just goes with the vibe of the 1930s crackle vinyl. And then once I had that, I kind of just, I was like, that's like the message of the song. That's like the message. I don't want to do verse and bridge, and like I don't want to do the rest of it. And I just improvised some on top of it. I need you to breathe beside me. Just hold on a minute more. And I just sang that on top. Hanging by a thread, hanging by a thread. And then I improvised a background vocal, and I added a ton of reverb. The lead vocal, I made it sound a bit tubey, not by adding a tube thing. I don't know if you can hear that, but... That's because the vinyl isn't turned on. Now listen to the difference when I turn the vinyl effect on. It sounds... You can hear it sounds kind of tubey. Okay, this sounds tubey. And it's kind of just a side effect of having the same track but without the vinyl. One has the vinyl, so there's kind of phasing stuff going on that makes it sound like it's a tube effect. Alongside with the crackly crack, crack, crack. And then once I had that, I was like, okay, it's a vibe. It's not, I'm not sure if it should stay this short or what I should do with it next yet, but I was happy in the moment. And then I added some transitions because I had like made this section and this section, but then I was missing a drum fill, so I made this drum fill that I programmed in, and I added some risers. These are just loops, the risers. I will show you. So basically, this one and this one, they're the same ones, but this one's an octave up, and this one I added automation so that it moves from right to left, and I wanted to make it sound like it's a car on the street, because at this point she's in the car trying to rescue her little friend. So I did that there, and then this one's a different one, but it's also just a loop, and then I did this drum fill. I love drums. I love drums. There's nothing more to add. That's all I have to say. You know, and then it's just like, and then it goes.
And that's it. Then I wasn't sure how to end the song. And I was like, oh, it could be a loop-de-loop. Not necessarily a loop-de-loop, but I could suggest an open ending where I looked away for a second and you buried your face. Oh no, the kitty. What happened to the kitty? We don't know. In reality, he had to stay with the vet overnight. He got some kind of medicine to make him vomit. And then I had to pick him up on the next day, poor little guy. And it cost a lot of money. Okay, that was it. That was my song number 1, which I'm just gonna let it sit. I'm not gonna think about it more now. And we're on to the next song then. But you have a week now to make your song and use the exercise as a starter. And I would love to hear what you make.
I hope you enjoy this exercise and writing your song. If you want to be on this journey with other singer-songwriters, go ahead and get the book the challenge is based on. You'll have free access to our WhatsApp community where you can share your songs and listen to other artists who are also joining in, and I'll put all the info for that in the description box below as well. I can't wait to hear how it goes, and of course, let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, happy songwriting, and I'll see you next week for song number 2.